Saion Gupta and I'm 11 years old. I'm the founder of, I'm 12 years old first of all, not 11, I'm 12 years old. And I'm the founder of 10xcodeofkids.com. And if you like this video, please don't forget to smash the like button and share this video with as many people as you can. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, kindly do it so that you don't miss any of my videos. So without any delay, let's get started. And today we are gonna learn generators in Python. Those are quite similar to generators in JavaScript, and today we are gonna see how they work and how to use them. So without any delay, let's get started. So first of all, we are defining a generator function as we do. Then we are declaring n is equals to 1. We are printing this is printed first, and then we are yielding n. So now what yield is a stop point, right? So we'll just look at yield afterwards. Right now let's see the whole code. Then we have n plus equals to 1, we are incrementing 1, and then we are printing this is printed second, and then we are yielding n once again. Then we are incrementing n, and then we are printing this is printed at last, and then yielding n. And then what we are doing, we are we are saying a equals mygen, right? So now we have saved a generated object in a. Now if I print a, we will see generated object over here, right? So it is saying that in a we have a generator object mygen, right? Quite cool. Now over here what we're doing, we are printing next a. So first let's see what is happening from next a. Whenever we are calling next a, because whenever we are calling it for the first time, then it will go in a generator object, run all the code till the first yield, right? So it will run all the code until it finds a yield. So it set n equals to 1, it prints this is printed first, and then it stops at yield n, right? So it is stopping at yield n. Yield is kind of your return, but it won't terminate. It will kind of terminate temporarily. It will temporarily terminate the execution of the function. For the execution of the function, right? The yield will temporarily terminate the execution of our for the function, right? For the execution, it will terminate temporarily right now and stop over here, right? So now it has tracked that it has stopped on this yield. It has done everything before it, right? So it has done n is equals to 1, and it has printed this is printed first, and then it has stopped on yield, and yield n is working like a return. So it has terminated but temporarily, right? And it has given us n, right? So next a will run this much code, and then it will stop over here on yield n, and we will get after doing all this, whatever we give after yield, that we will get outside. So from this we are getting the value of n, right? After all this happening, we are getting the value of n that we are printing, right? So that's why we see this is printed first, right? So we see this is printed first because when I'll just comment these lines so that it is much clearer to you. So this is saying this is printed first. So when we call next a, it goes over here in our generator object, because this is our first next call. Then it sets because of that, it starts from the top. It sets n equals to 1. It prints this is printed first, so we get this over here. It stops on yield and returns us n. N's value is 1. We print whatever value we got from this. That is the value of n, that is 1, so that 1 is being printed, right? We could have done the same thing over here, but by using dot next. We could also have done this. So this will work the same, right? Quite cool. But for beginners, the best syntax is this syntax, right? So you should use this syntax, but you could have done like that also. Next, if we call next once again, So it now it had stopped over here, it continues from here, so it increments the value of n. It was 1 before, it sets it to 2 now. It prints, this is printed second, and then it temporarily stops over here and gives us the value of n, that is 2. So over here it will increment the value of n, it will print, this is printed second, then it will temporarily stop and give us n, that we are further printing outside the generator object. So we will get this is printed first, then we'll get 1, then we'll get this is printed second, then we'll get 2. Right, so far so good. Next we do once more this thing. So we call next a, so we call the next function. So it stopped over here, it continues from here, it increments n by 1, right? It increments n by 1. So now its value is 3. It prints, this is printed at the last, right? And so that gets printed, and then it yields n. So it temporarily stops over here, and because this is the end of the generator generator function, there's nothing after it. So now we can't call next once again. I'll show you what happens when we call next once again. But it yields n over here, right? So it stops over here, it completely stops over here as there's no code after this, right? And we get n. So the n's value is first incremented, then it prints, this is printed at last, then we get the value of n, that is 3, that gets printed. So we get in the total result will be, this is printed first, then we'll get 1, this is printed second, and then we'll get 2, then it will show this is printed at last, and then we'll get 3 on the screen. Now if I exceed the limits, right, because there's nothing after this, we can't call next once again. But if I try to do, what happens? We get the whole thing, but then we have an error that we get trace back file main.py and line 19, print next day over here on line 19, right? So the stop iteration, so we are getting stop iteration over here. This is showing that this function over this generator object has ended now, right? The work of the generator object is ended over here, and nothing is more to do with the generator object, right? So it throws us an error, right? So you should not exceed the limits. There's another way you can use the generator object. You can give while true over here. Sorry, generator functions. In generator function you can give while true, and you can say print I, and then we can say I equals 0. We can say I plus equals to 1, right? So over here what it will do, this will print, not print I, will yield the value of I, right? So next time whatever we now see what will happen. We get 0, 1, 2, and we can do this forever. How many times? Any number of times we want, right? So what is exactly happening over here? Whenever we first time call the next function on a generator object, then what will happen, it will set I to 0, it will enter the while loop, and it will yield I. So it will temporarily stop over here, and we will get 0, that will be printed. Then next time when we call next a, it will increment, it will start after a yield, it will increment the value of 1, increment the value of I, go back on the top of the while loop, and then yield I. Now i's value is 1, so it will temporarily stop here and give us 1, that is further printed. Like this the process will keep on happening, and because there is no condition over here when to stop the while loop, it will keep on happening, right? So it will keep on returning us incremented numbers whenever we call the next method. So this was it guys for generators. I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, please don't forget to smash the like button and share this video with as many people as you can. Thank you guys. Bye. Stay safe, stay healthy, and keep watching my videos. Dab!